Welcome back. Episode 4. The Cincinnati Bengals free agents.
No more Red Rifle.
They've got 4 starters potentially going to free agency. A couple pretty big names. AJ Green, Tyler Eifert, tight end, Nick Vigil, outside linebacker, and Andrew Billings, defensive tackle. That's your 4 starters. They've got a whole list of backups. But they've got $44.8 million.
It's not too bad.
They went 2-14 last year. Their team need is quarterback and then everywhere. So it was just a bad season for them, seriously. But they've got $44.8 million, which is workable. They've got the number 1 overall pick. Everyone's projecting Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
No.
If he doesn't go, or if they trade back, it'll be something else. But thoughts? What are you guys' thoughts?
The Joe Burrow thing, we're running into this what we talked about before. You have a bad team. Your offensive line isn't very good.
Yep.
I mean, they've got a couple pieces that are okay on the O-line,
I mean,
but
you got a lot of question marks on the outside.
yeah,
Eifert, Green. You got Mixon.
Nixon's good. But do you really need to draft a quarterback before you fill all these other needs? Because you're setting a quarterback up to fail, I think. And are they going to re-sign AJ Green? I don't think so. I don't see the point in signing a big contract to a 32-year-old receiver on a team
That's injury prone.
It's injury prone, and you're in a rebuild.
He voiced he didn't want to be there.
Yeah, he voiced that recently.
Which, in my opinion, they should have traded him before the trade deadline.
Yeah.
To get something out of him.
I thought they were
get
going
a third
to.
pick, 4th. My biggest opinion, I'm a big fan of this, but if I'm them, like you said, I'd trade down.
Mm-hmm.
There might be one of the Miami, one of these other teams might jump up the Chargers.
Well, where they are right now, they've only got 7 picks. So
You got 1 in each round,
Yeah.
so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
If it's me and they decide to keep the first pick, I'm taking Tua.
You don't like Burrow?
It took him five seasons to finally show what he can do.
Mm-hmm.
He's older than Lamar and I think Patrick Mahomes. Or he's the same age as Patrick Mahomes. Tua didn't need 5 years to show what he could do.
Right.
No.
You were saying there's a little more ceiling. He has a little higher ceiling.
Burrow's pretty much it. I think he's tapped out.
He's at his ceiling. This is it. This is what you're going to get.
A lot of LSU quarterbacks / Ohio State quarterbacks don't play well in the NFL.
I don't know why either, because a lot of their others, like defensive players and stuff, do.
Like the last LSU quarterback, Jamarcus Russell.
Yep, Jamarcus Russell.
I just think they got too much. There's too many holes. There's too many holes.
I agree with that.
I think you trade back, you draft another position of need, take one of these, take a Jordan Love, take a Jalen Hurts, take somebody like that, develop them. I mean, hell, keep Dalton for another year.
I'd say keep Dalton. Here's even another one to throw out there. What about Phillip Rivers?
Right.
I'd get some kind of a veteran quarterback
as a bridge.
No, Rivers
wouldn't go there.
You have a bad offensive line. You can't get a guy like Rivers. I mean, I think Rivers. We're getting off topic, but I think he'll go to like the Colts, somebody like that. That's got an offensive line.
Right. A little more.
I just think if you draft Burrow, not saying he's going to be a bad quarterback, he might be really good, but if he doesn't have anything to work with,
you're setting the quarterback up to fail.
He's not going to do well.
And I think that's the biggest thing. There's no receiver, no number 1 receiver. I mean,
John Ross, right?
Boyd
and John Ross.
Tight end wise, they get that Uzoma.
And then if you sign Iver's 29,
and he's injury prone.
He is injury prone, but he is a hell of a talent.
Yeah, he is.
So if you could, they saying that he's making about $4 million. So that's if you can get him back for that, I would definitely take a crack at it.
I think they should trade back, but I think they're going to stick, and I think they're probably going to pick Burrow.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're going to pick a quarterback.
That's just what teams do. Like you said, though, it's setting that quarterback up for failure.
Nobody ever seems to realize that, though.
Right.
But it happens over and over.
You want the guy. You want your guy, but look at a lot of it. Kind of going off top, but quarterback-wise, look at Dallas.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They had a line. For years, everybody made fun of them. They took a center. They took a guard. They went and got a quarterback in
the fourth round. Dak was a fourth-round pick.
I mean, because like you said,
and he succeeded.
You got all these quarterbacks that are going to go probably in the top 5, top 6. It might end up being a guy like Hurst or something that goes in the first or the second round that ends up having a better career because he goes where he wants to go.
Yeah.
I mean,
goes to a team that's a little more stable, and then he sits for a year, and then, okay, here's my shot. They've got a line. They've got a running back. They've got receivers. Then you're throwing Burrow into the NFL.
I mean, you could even...
with no line.
You could even trade...
Your top receivers walking in green.
You could even trade with Miami. If Miami wants you move back to, 5? Mm-hmm. They got the 5th pick. Move back to 5, then acquire like another second-round pick, their second-round pick from them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Then if there's a quarterback there, you can move back up. I mean, if you want to. I mean,
another thing I would do, might get some hate for this, but Dunlap, Atkins, I'd trade them or get rid of them. You're paying decent money to them. You got 44. That's kind of, you're rebuilding.
they are. They're in rebuild mode. I mean, it's two wins last year.
I would. This is me, at least. Like you said, I would trade back that first pick. Like if you get with Miami, get another second round pick to get a lineman, get something.
Right.
There's a lot of question marks.
Yeah, there is a lot of question marks. I think the Bengals are going to stay in last place.
Yeah.
Ultimately, 2-14 last year. Even if you take Burrow,
you still got a lot to do. I mean, it's going to take.
They're going to be 5-11. I don't see them really competing for the top. I mean, though they might get a couple wins against the other garbage teams in the league. I don't see them beating Baltimore. I don't see them beating Pittsburgh twice.
I could see them upsetting, maybe Pittsburgh. Ravens, it happens.
On an upset,
always
right.
in that, always in that.
I think we're looking at a few years before they're even competitive.
Right, for the actual division crown.
Yeah, I mean it's not they've got a lot. They've got a lot to do.
They're in complete rebuild mode at this point, but that's the thing. If you take your quarterback, you don't just shelve him after a bad season. You let him build. I mean, you gotta let him grow. Build around him and let him grow. But I agree with you guys. I don't like taking a quarterback first just because of those facts that you're throwing him into the fire.
Unless you've got something set up for him to succeed, and right now they don't.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing about that roster right now that says, except for Mixon, that says, oh, we've got a good thing going.
Even think about it. Free agency-wise, it's not even appealing.
No.
It's not going to attract a Teddy. Winston, any of those guys that Mariota.
They want to win, right.
Like I said, even they're signing, like a Mariota or some guy that's, a bridge.
Well, in Cincinnati, from what I always hear, their ownership doesn't really like to pay a lot of big-name players and stuff a lot. So I think it's going to be a struggle for a while. I think they'll be on the bottom of the division for the next few years, to be honest with you. I think they're going to have to take a lot of building to get to where they need to be.
But that's what they need to do. I mean, if you want to get competitive and avoid the whole Browns scenario, you got to stick with your guys. You got to build and be consistent.
Biggest thing too, just keep the head coach. Keep the coach.
Right.
3 to 5 years.
Don't throw them away after 1 year. Give them a year to install a system, man.
And I like what you said too. Trade Atkins, trade Dunlap, trade some of those guys because you need all the picks you can get right now. You got to rebuild for the future, and keeping a lot of older players at a big salary isn't really helping your team right now.
Right.
So I just don't see the.
Because I'm sure, depending on what happens, they might end up say if Green signs elsewhere, they might get a comp pick next year, right?
Maybe, yeah.
A third or a fourth, probably.
But
unless they tag and trade him, if that's even a possibility, with a New England or Because I know he's been linked with them a lot. Or
I don't blame him though. I don't blame. He's 32, and
he's rode out his time. He's been there. I mean, he's a damn good receiver, but
I think he's got a couple good prime years left. I mean, I think about 35 will start aging out, so he's got about 3 years left. He wants to go somewhere that he can win now.
I think if Brady goes back to New England, I could see New England.
See him going there. I could see him going to New Orleans.
But
anyways, this is Bengals, but
yeah. So
it is what it is.
Yeah.
See what the Bengals do with that number 1 pick.
Is it going to be Burrow?
Tua? Herbert?
But